I thought you might have been out diving.
I'm sorry, Madame d'Estray. I must have kept you waiting.
There's no rush. I'm your employer, not your supervisor. And these two are...
They're two of my trustworthy companions.
Yes, I see. I suppose it's only natural for someone responsible like you to have some reliable friends.
It's really nice to meet you, Madame d'Estray. Are you Fremine's employer? Paimon is...
Greetings, my new friends. Just call me Zuria. You are both so adorable. The sight of you reminds me of little fairies under a cottage roof.
Oh, do you really think so?
Of course. If my child had friends like you, then perhaps he wouldn't have become so obsessed with the tales of water imps.
Obsessed with the tales of water imps?
Ah, so you don't know anything about my request yet? I would have thought Fremine had explained it to you already.
Well, Fremine told us that it was a private matter, so he didn't want to just share it willy-nilly.
I see. So Monsieur Fremine is even more discreet than I had thought. But it would be quite impolite of me to simply pile all of my troubles on you without your permission.
Sure, you can tell us anything. You've already said nice things about us, so we'll try our best to help you get through your troubles.
Ah, what a lovely little fairy. Then let me think of a way to put my situation into words. Simply put, parents came up with a story, painting water imps as scary abductors in an effort to convince their children to stay away from the water.
Infatuated? With...
Yes. He told me that he thought the water imp might have just been misunderstood. In his mind, instead of singing to abduct children...
So he wanted to become friends with the water imp so it wouldn't be lonely any longer? What a unique way of thinking.
Thank you, little Paimon. He indeed has always stood out from the crowd. He was actually diagnosed with loneliness syndrome when he was only 8 years old. It's a type of mental disorder. Those affected by it often feel extremely lonely and lose interest in many mundane activities.
Oh no. Is it a very serious disorder?
If you were to become afflicted with the disorder, Paimon, you would only be able to say less than a fraction of the words you're saying to the traveler now.
No! Paimon won't accept that! We would have to find a doctor to help cure Paimon. Paimon has a 2,000-word quota for daily conversations with the traveler, and she won't settle for a single word less!
The family doctor has already begun to treat my son, but since the disorder is rare, there aren't many good regimens for treatment.
Huh? Uncontrollable what now?
Uncontrollable delusions. To put it simply, he can no longer differentiate between fantasy and reality, and spends all his time in his fantasy world.
Then what is he seeing in his fantasy world?
It's a dream that he often mentioned to me when he was younger. I've compiled what I could understand of his recent rambling.
Amazing! Your son came up with all of this? He really crafted a lovely fairy tale world for Thelxie.
But perhaps no beautiful dream can ever last long. You see, the story ended with a twist.
How could the story end like this? Is that kind of fantasizing what caused your son to develop his loneliness syndrome?
Well, it'd be more accurate to say that it was the syndrome that caused such terrible delusions to manifest. But in any case, the biggest problem is the patient eventually loses themselves to the fantasy world of their own creation.
My poor child can no longer differentiate between imagination and reality. He's begun to see himself as Thelxie.
Perhaps in his mind, the loneliness he felt became the same as that of a prince who lost everything he ever loved or stood.
What? So that's what you meant by uncontrollable delusions. Then we have to help him snap out of it.
Alas, most of the time he acts as if he can no longer sense or interact with the real world at all. I've had several discussions with the doctor. He once wanted to make a picture book of his imaginary world. But since the disorder progressed too quickly, he never quite got past the first page of the book.
Ah, so Zuria's son also saw Thelxie as a penguin.
What we should do now is help him complete this picture book. However, we'll lead the story to a different ending. We'll need to chase away his loneliness and sorrow, and let him perceive a world full of hope again.
But if we just need to finish the picture book, why does Fremine need to make a Thelxie as well?
Because we need to treat the book's story seriously, as if it's a history of things that have really happened. We'll need to go on a journey like Thelxie, and help him regain his crown and country. But my child can no longer go on a journey of his own. This is why I commissioned Fremine here to craft a Thelxie, and then I'll paint the journey with this Thelxie into the picture book.
Ah, like a stand-in for your son! Paimon's starting to get it now. Oh, you really put a lot of thought into this, Zuria. Paimon still has one question, though.
There are some ruins on the seabed of the Salacia Plains. I've already asked Fremine to research them for me. We'll be able to use one of the ruins as the kingdom.
Oh, so we'll just need to act out a performance of, a brave journey through the Kingdom of Water Imps.
Sadly, no. We won't just be putting on a performance. It's just as Zuria said.
So we'll be playing it straight, or...?
It's all right. There's no need to get that serious. It's not a big deal. I believe in my son. We can just see this as him wanting to stay asleep for a bit longer.
Zuria.
Keep your spirits up, everyone. If we were to look troubled, my son is sure to become anxious as well. I should be heading back right about now to check on my son. We temporarily moved to a place on the hill over there, so my son will have a better spot to convalesce. It's not far from the water, and there's also a great view.
Understood. There's also one last thing. Since these two friends...
That's great news. I must thank you all. All right, everyone. Let's meet again in another 2 days.
Zuria sure is a brave and optimistic lady.
Let's discuss that over by the tent.
What is it, Fremine? What did you want to say?
If you don't mind me asking, I would like the two of you to mentally prepare yourselves. This is the first time that you've met anyone with the syndrome, right? I know you two are both really strong and will do everything you can to help the child. But if things don't quite turn out as we wish...
Fremine, why do you bring this up all of a sudden? Didn't we just promise Zuria that we'll...
It's not that I'm not optimistic.
Ah, so that's why you looked like you knew exactly what she was talking about.
No. Please don't misunderstand. I've never had it. I've just... They say there are many factors surrounding the development of this illness. I've heard everything from hereditary factors in one state, and from the cases I've seen, there weren't many positive...
What? It can get that serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Paimon's seen all of those things too.
Really?
Yeah! But Paimon has a question. If this illness can really be as bad as you've described, after all, we'll just be using a toy as Thelxie and some ruins as the Kingdom of Water Imps. The whole adventure will...
Well, I think it should... But if we can help him regain control and escape from the darkness, we'll be able to change his world. Like helping someone who's lost their voice be able to speak again.
Oh, Paimon sees what you're saying now. Huh. How do you understand all of this so well, Fremine?
Well, so you remembered.
What Penguin Town? Why doesn't Paimon remember? Is that also a fairy tale world? Don't leave Paimon in the dark! Hey, why did you put that on?
It's just one of my personal quirks. Anyway, Penguin Town is a peaceful place and Pear is the town's triumphant hero.
Pear? But didn't you make Pear yourself?
Well, I often think that Pear only came to me.
Fremine, are you sure you're not losing control of your fantasies as well?
No, I don't think so. I can still differentiate between It might just be hidden, which is why it's difficult to see. Or it will only reveal itself at very...
Specific times? Like when you put on your diving helmet?
Yeah.
Really? Paimon just said that because you put on your helmet.
Have you ever observed the surface world from underwater? It's as if you're viewing a whole different... I have a similar feeling when I put on my diving helmet. In those moments, it's possible to see some truly wondrous things, as if a fairy tale has become reality. It's almost like a sort of miracle.
Really? Like a miracle?
Well, if that's in order.
Hey, now's not the time! Fremine still has Thelxie's weapon to make. We don't want to bother him now.
Right. I still have to collect some tools I'll need to craft the weapon. I've got to finish everything before tomorrow. Thanks for all of your help. I'll be off for now.